This episode of Vice of Life has been brought to you by our good friends over on Patreon, Anna Jenkins and Unsocial Penguin.
Got him! Got him!
Hey guys, welcome to episode 67 of Vice of Life. It's been a while, it seems like. I'm your host, Logan. Joining me is Josh over there across the way. And also joining us is Eloy. How are you?
Doing well.
Well, I feel like you have to come explaining yourself. I don't know, you don't have to actually do this.
Yeah, we had almost like a sick week last week in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely had a sick week.
Yeah.
Sick day.
Well, what
Took
was
some
going
time
on?
off.
Yeah.
What was going on?
I don't know. I just had like a weird stomach bug, I guess. I don't
Was
know.
it the shits kind or the throw up kinds?
More the throw up kind.
Okay, well that's good.
I don't know if I ate something funky or what, but yeah, I was not feeling
Maybe.
good last time we were set to record, so I hit the guys up and I'm like, can't do it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We were gonna do it, but I just started like that new Amazon job, and I was pretty beat, pretty exhausted. So I was like, eh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was, then I had, there was a lot of scheduling conflicts going on. I was going to have my son, and then I wasn't, and then I was not, then I wasn't. So everything last week just kind of got weird, and so we posted an old episode if you didn't notice. And, but this week it's, we're back to your regularly scheduled programming, as they say. But this is Vice of Life, the show where we come and talk about a topic directly or tangentially relating to life. You know, there you go.
Yes,
Sounds a
sir.
lot better when I'm not even
I
reading
was
it.
gonna say you're doing good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
And before we usually get into the topic at hand, which today will be got him pranks, we're going to be talking about what we had done over the last couple of weeks. And so, does anyone want to go first specifically, or no?
I can go. I started doing the Amazon driving stuff, and they have this app that you have to have running the whole time that tracks like your speed and cornering and braking and seatbelt and just everything, and makes it tricky because you have to be like below 20 miles per hour to corner, and so and basically just strap the seatbelt in, and then just sit on top of it, and there's like all these things that you have to do. And I've been having a hard time like keeping up, honestly, like to make it all fit within like the time block that they give you. And the other day they sent this guy to like come, they call it rescue, like they come pick up some of your packages so that you can get done on time, basically.
Okay.
And the guy like stopped me. He's like, "Hold on, I want to talk to you." And it was like this guy. I shouldn't do the accent; it's offensive, but I'm tempted. But so he was just telling me like, I won't do it. But when it gets to like 2:30, because you work the way it is you start at 8:30 a.m. and then it's till 7 p.m. and then there's like time in there where you drive to the warehouse and drive back and all that. But he's like around 2:30, like you go into your app settings and then force stop it, and then you can just drive however you want. And you put packages all around the front seat, like you slide it back as far as you can, put boxes up there, you put bags up on the dashboard, just all this stuff to like get around the system to like get done on time, which is kind of ridiculous because the job should just be manageable. You shouldn't have to do that. But so, you know, I guess playing the system, man, or just finding workarounds. That's what I've been slowly learning. I don't want to do the sign out thing though, because it's kind of sketchy. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where they like say it's the norm, but watch me do it and then get caught. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
gonna do that. Like,
It's one of those tips you learn and then you maybe try out. You know, after a few months on the job, you're like,
Yeah.
So I was gonna say,
Let's
like,
see.
A few months in,
Exactly.
year in, you're like, yeah, I see. There's some
Oh,
merit to this.
I'll be long gone. But yeah. Well, his actual name's Muhammad Ali, and his brother is Mustafa, and they're both like, the bosses are motherfuckers, man. Do everything you can. Like, he was going off on me. I was like, wow, this is a weird environment, but okay.
Sounds very much like it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
They'll try to fuck you, man. Like, they'll tell you to come home early or like come back early and then not give you your full hours and just all this shit. And I don't know.
So it's not a like fuck Jeff Bezos kind of thing. It's just fuck management kind of thing.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Well, it's all these like third-party companies, you know. So like, there's the one I work for, and then there's 6 others or
that's right.
whatever.
Okay.
And so it's funny because he'll say like, we want to make sure you get your hours and make sure your clock-ins are right and all that. And then you hear from the people, and they're like, no, they'll try to screw you over and da da da. So I don't know. It's been fine so far, but they start you off with like easier routes, and then it gets more intense as you get better. And I just kind of barely started doing like the full ones. And they had to send 2 rescues the other day because I just wasn't like keeping up. Because now it's 300 packages instead of like the 150 they start you on. And it's a big jump, man.
It's 100% increase.
Yeah, serious. You got to just be running, and even the time to get into the back of the van like starts adding up, you know. So that's why like they put it in the front and all that. But it's just funny how different the actual job is versus like the online training. Like I kind of talked about that. Like you knock on the door and Amazon and all that. No, you're just like tossing it and just getting back in. And, like, I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Just don't be a dickhead. Don't ever throw it.
I
I've caught someone fucking throw a package at my door. I'm about to go out there. Like, listen, you motherfucker.
I did that when I tried out FedEx. I just like threw one of the bags, and he was like, "Yeah, we don't do that." And I'm like, "I didn't know how fast you wanted me to go, man. I was just trying to keep up." Like,
Just efficiency above all.
yeah, I actually like most people. Maybe it's just where I drive lately, but most people have like the Ring doorbell with the camera and stuff.
Oh.
And I'll like do kind of like the cop knock and then press the button like, you know, and then doo-doo, and then. Honestly, I find myself waving at the camera more than I should. I don't know why I do that.
I hope they check it for your sake.
Yeah, exactly.
Just for fun.
So they're like, oh, that Amazon guy is so nice. But
Yeah.
I'm like sweating and like looking all mad. So I got to try to do that so I don't look like a total asshole.
Well, if you're there during the holidays, I
Oh.
mean, that's a good way to make sure they give you presents, because that's like a whole thing. You give
True.
your delivery person presents during the holiday season. So.
Yeah. Some people will leave like little snacks or drinks or whatever on their porch, and it's like, thank you to delivery drivers. And
Like a second Halloween, just leave candy canes and take one.
yeah. Dude, I can't even imagine what that job would be like in the winter if it's hard to keep up now, let alone like ice and snow and shit. I don't know. We'll see.
Probably
I'm-
get another 100% increase on top of that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and more packages. So I'm actively looking, you know. Like, but for now, that's what I'm doing. So.
Good. Well, I'm glad it's treating you well enough, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
If I find something and I do like the 2 weeks, I'll definitely try all those cheats and just see like how it goes, you know. Because they do this thing where like if you're done before 4:45 and then you do the rescue, you can leave early and get the full 10 hours. So I'm like, well, God, if I could figure out how to do that, like, that's not bad. So I don't know.
It's very generous.
Yeah, when
Jeez.
you well, but then if you go past that, it's like you might as well just stretch out your time, and so it's kind of this weird thing. Like I don't know why they do it like that, but they just do.
Fuck if I know, man.
Yeah, I'll be gone soon enough.
Yeah. Fuck. Everybody is saying, the post office is gonna run out of money, and I don't
Yeah.
think they will. I think something will happen, but
I hope so.
yeah, that's been going through my mind. Is like maybe I should start looking for, a temporary job too. So
Yeah,
I
shit.
don't know. Maybe I'll do UPS. You can do Amazon. He'll do FedEx.
Yeah,
A roommate.
no kidding.
I'll go over there.
I see the people driving like DHL or On Track or
yeah.
whatever. That one doesn't look bad. Maybe you'll try
Yeah.
that. Like I
I
don't
think
know.
that's mostly international packages, right? Isn't that what their whole call to
I think so.
uniqueness is?
Yeah.
But also, as a heads up for the listeners here, maybe I should have done this at the beginning of the episode,
Yeah.
but because it's kind of weird being spliced in right here. But it's not even spliced; it's just me talking. But we had with the coding thing, I had to update my computer, so I'm using a different program. I'm using Audition rather than whatever the Audacity. So if this episode sounds weird, that's why I'm messing with the levels again. And so yeah, just as a heads up, if you were like, wow, Josh went from really high to low to okay there, because I'm trying to figure this out as we go. So
Yeah.
but what did you do, Eloy, this week?
I've actually been job hunting myself.
Oh yeah.
Just
Okay.
sitting on the computer for fucking 5 hours a day. It feels
know.
like. Apply here, apply there, and God, I don't know. Maybe my resume is just really awful or boring. I know it's up to date, but
Not getting.
I'm not
responses.
getting nothing on the line.
Yeah, dude. For a while there, like before I started this job, I just kept getting like, "Thank you for your application. We've decided to move forward with other candidates." I kept getting a lot of those, and it's like, fuck, it feels pretty shitty. So
I don't know. Maybe it speaks to my lack of patience or lack of persistence, but I get the jobs I do hear back from. It's like, okay, reply to this email if you're interested. I'm like, yeah, obviously.
yeah,
And then they're like, okay, reply to this and then go fill this out and then this and this. It's like, I'm just fucking read the application
I know.
and call
like,
me.
You're doing through Indeed, and it's all like
I've done it
plugged
through
in.
Indeed a few times.
I know. I hate that. It's like I already filled it all out. It's right there. Why
Yeah,
do I
and
have
it's
to-
apply through Indeed.
Yeah.
And then, okay, we're interested in you. Apply through our website.
Yeah. I
And
don't know
God,
if that's-
especially warehouse work, which is so abundant.
It's true.
You always have to take some sort of assessment that's 45 minutes long in addition to the
Yeah.
application.
Yeah.
I don't know,
man.
It's just I'm losing it.
Yeah.
And now I'm debating. I'm like, should I even try and get like a really good job right now, or should I just stick with my bullshit job and try and just go through school with what I got right now?
I know. I'm kind of in that same spot. Like, I applied with Slick and did like the placement tests and all that, and I wouldn't even be able to start until spring next year. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of like,
Exactly.
I got time, I guess.
Like,
but-
especially with barber schools, I don't know what the hell's going on with them exactly right now.
yeah.
So
Probably not a lot.
yeah,
I imagine even the professional haircutters and stuff are having a hard time. I don't imagine they're teaching new people in the
Yeah.
middle of COVID.
exactly.
So
I don't know.
Maybe they'll like send you one of those plastic heads in the mail, and then have you like stream cutting it and go like, okay, here's what you could have done, and maybe you should start that.
Just start fucking around.
An online barber class. Yeah, just buy up all those heads and ship them out, and make them pay a little extra.
I don't know.
Just pretend like you've been in the biz for a long time.
This stuff it's expensive too.
Yeah, true.
you can
Yes.
cut like how people like tattoo oranges or whatever when they're learning to become
Yeah.
tattoo artists. You can like do that with alfalfa, for the hair.
Oh,
You know?
there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There we go.
keeps growing
That's,
back.
that's some innovation right
pets.
there.
It's
Hmm.
really thick
Chia
hair.
pets.
It's only
Bugs
one type
Bunny
of
has a
hair,
sick
but
fade.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I don't know, man. I've been wondering that too. Is what's the job market like? Part of the reason that last week was so weird scheduling is because, my son's mom kept getting like canceled on. People at her work never show up all the time, and she was just fed up with it. So she kind of just paid all of her bills until July and just quit her job
Oh yeah.
and got a new one. Which good job. I think that's great. That because when I quit a job like that, I didn't have anything prepared. I was just like, I'm sick of this job, and I quit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very irresponsible. But she's like, yeah, I got all my bills paid till July, and I'm like, oh, or I think she said through July, so till August really. But
Nice.
So
Hell,
good for
that's
her.
exactly what I did with the apartment.
yeah,
I quit fucking KFC, and I'm like, okay, Ryan wants to move in. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
live with my girlfriend.
Yeah, there you go.
but she found another job already, but that's with UPS.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Those are the kinds of jobs I think that are abundant now, probably like warehouse work and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Good luck to her.
This fucking microphone, man. I'm losing my shit. This whole recording thing. Oh my god.
Yeah, those like crunches. I don't know.
I don't
It's
know.
all right. We're
It's
figuring
the
it out.
fucking hardware, man. It's the
Yeah.
hardware. It's the mics. It's everything. I'm loud now.
Doesn't help that us being shorter guys, we don't have the wingspan to stay behind the mic and play with the levels.
Yeah, true.
God. I rarely do. I don't know. I have these 5-foot long cables for the mics, which is fine. But I think that's part of the reason that they're so like fucky at the same time.
True.
Is that there's like a lot of
Play.
Yeah.
And then the headphone wires are really short. I don't know. We don't have a professional setup at all, is what I'm trying to say. But hopefully everybody sounds okay. To you guys, do I sound loud or did anybody else?
I don't think so. I don't know.
We all sound relatively the same level, at least
Okay.
to me.
I hope so, because the good thing about Audition is that the levels part of it is really big, and I can tell exactly like where we're at decibel wise. But
Okay.
I don't know, man. This episode might sound like total shit. We'll see. But
It's all right.
this week well, the one thing I want to say is today. I don't know what happened, but yesterday I went to bed at like 10 o'clock at night, 10:30. I was like, okay, I'll get up early. And I did. And then I went back to bed after like feeding the cats and stuff.
Thank you.
And then and then I just slept in till like 1 o'clock. And I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, it was like in and out, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have these days where you're in bed for like 14 hours.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know, man. I'm feeling bad about it because it's already 4:30 when we're recording this, and I haven't done anything today. But at the same time, it's like, wow, I haven't done that probably since high school, where
Yeah.
I've stayed in bed that long, other than when I'm hungover or something.
Yeah, that's how I was yesterday.
So
I was pretty. I don't drink like liquor very often, and the night before we were like doing shots and all this. So I mostly just stayed in bed yesterday.
yeah, that's why she was calling up, saying, "Come on, beauty queen." Were you laying in bed like?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I mean, even today, like, I woke up late too. I woke up like 10 minutes before I was supposed to be there. So I like texted and called, and I'm like, can I still come in? And they're like, someone already took your route. And so yeah, that's why I'm off today. But I'm trading. I would have tomorrow off, so I'm just going to work tomorrow. And it's all good. And then she also overslept. I don't know. Something's going on today, man.
Yeah, maybe
Something ain't right.
something's in the dreamscape.
Yeah. I know, huh? There's like important info just soaking into our minds, and they're like, "Don't wake up, we're not done." The aliens. I don't know.
Drip feeding.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I maybe had a sex dream. I'm not positive. I don't remember my dreams like afterwards. So maybe I did, maybe I didn't.
You
It's
have
one of
a
those
vague
things.
idea.
I have a vague like recollection of there being
Oh, man,
flesh
last night
involved.
felt pretty sexy. I don't know.
But
I did about this podcaster girl that I'm not even like attracted to. It was really weird.
yeah, that's
I don't
weird. When I was a kid,
I've done that before. Like I've
Yeah.
just purely platonic relationship between me and someone, and yeah, I had a weird dream like that.
know. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where they're like in California and stuff. But
do you guys remember any of your coming of age wet dreams or anything like that? Where your sex dreams of like as a kid, where you don't really know what sex is, but you're still
yeah,
dreaming about it?
No specifics for me.
me either. I'm trying to think, but
I just remember one where I was involved with some woman in a washing machine. It was really weird.
whoa,
Yeah.
damn.
Like we were in the washing machine and it was spinning. It was
Oh,
weird.
you-
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. That's a
Yeah,
wet
it was
dream.
really
All
weird. Yeah.
Bite-sized Logan.
Yeah.
It was weird. I have weird dreams. When I'm sick, like I'll just be in like a big ass white room. I think I've said this before, but there's just somebody screaming, but I can't tell where. Like the room is massive. Like
Hmm.
and I'm just like, where the fuck is that screaming coming from? And it's
Wow.
just so annoying. But yeah, weird dreams. So this week we were going to talk about pranks that we've done, we've seen, we've been a part of, been on the receiving end of, and how this came to mind. I was just thinking randomly, I think, about Eloy. When Eloy, he mentioned earlier, you quit KFC, you went to live with your girlfriend in Price, and as you were like in and out, like you were saying, you would go down to Price like every other weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
And you came back the week that we found out that you guys had become an official duo, and we were really happy for you. So we decided to fill your room with balloons, literally from the floor to like, I don't know, chest area. That's how many balloons there were. And Eloy walked in. I think there's a video out there somewhere. But you seemed to take it well enough at the beginning, and then
I mean,
The reality.
okay, so here's what it is. I got there and it was a good time. It was funny. There's a video on my phone of this. There's videos of on my phone
wow.
of this all happening.
I gotta see that.
And I just dove into the balloons and everything. I was having a good time. But granted, I got home later at night, maybe like 9, 10, something like that. And there were just so many balloons in my room that eventually I soured on the joke because I had to go to bed and I could not. So it was fucking 11:30 at night maybe. And I was sitting there popping balloons. To which Logan was pretty cool about it. Our other roommate was really pissed off at me for popping balloons that late. So I'm like, what the fuck do you expect from me? I don't know.
yeah.
So I ended up kind of just pushing them all out into the rest of the apartment. There were a bunch in the hallway, a bunch in the living room.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I can't pop them, everybody else has to deal with them tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, at like midnight, I just went out there and was like, Eloy, I know that it's probably annoying now, but I'll do this tomorrow, man. Don't worry about it. And then, so yeah, I popped them there. Then months after the fact, we would find little bits of like rubber balloons just in weird places.
Shit.
We originally wanted to like fill them with like confetti.
Oh boy.
Oh damn.
And so when you'd pop them, they'd like explode everywhere, but that doesn't really work with gravity because it would just like go to the bottom, and when you pop it, it's just like it all just falls. It's not as bombastic as you would think.
Damn it.
I was wondering if like it'd be different if there's like helium or something, or if you'd need to get like flowing air in there somehow. But anyways, we filled them up with glitter too, but a lot of those when you pop them, just be like. That was just an additional mess to clean up without the fanfare.
Oh wow. There was even more to this than I was led to believe.
Yeah. I think there's a video of Corey popping one, and we thought it was going to be like, woo, and then it's just really sad.
God damn it.
But, so yeah, I was thinking about that story, then I was thinking of just silly things that we've done over the years. I've thought, then I realized Eric Andre's special actually comes out this week, and then I was like, well, who better than, the king of pranks than him? And so, I don't know, I just feel like there's stuff to talk about. Are you guys even interested in the Eric Andre?
Yeah, absolutely.
Stand up or anything like
I've
that?
seen a few skits of his that I could laugh at, but I've never like dove too deep into him.
Did you see the Eric Andre show?
Nope.
No.
Never watched a single episode.
Not even with Ryan? He would always play it.
Maybe he put it on in the background, but I've never actually sat down and watched an episode.
I used to watch 1 or 2 before bed, like every night, a while back. But
Yeah. I think
That seems like the perfect show to do that with.
yeah, the intro can get your heart rate up a little bit, so you got to be careful, because he's like destroying the set and screaming and shit. It's fun. Like, I've heard like his older stand up a little bit, but I know there's that new one on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I think it's called Legalize Everything, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm pretty sure that I saw this stand-up hour, but I mean, he did a lot of crowd work when I went to see him at Wise Guys a while ago. So
It's like the same material, maybe.
I think like the promo of him talking about the cops intro and reggae and stuff. I think I saw that before. That seems vaguely familiar, but I don't know. I don't have Netflix again. I don't have Netflix right now, anyways. I just have HBO. So I'd have to go
Oh,
back
that's
and
right.
get it, but yeah. Do you have like a favorite skit that he does or prank? I suppose.
I don't know why, but I really like the one. I think it's Jack Black that he has on, and they make him. It's like air duster or some weird. They like get him to inhale all this shit, and he gets all like dazed out and weird. And his coffee cup just starts like streaming coffee like out onto the floor, and just all this shit is just like exploding and breaking. And he's like Jack Black is like basically unconscious, just like leaning back in the chair, and he just like can't keep up. And I don't know. It's
Is it
pretty
actually
good.
Jack Black? Because sometimes they have
Yeah.
like the actual person come in, and the other times it's like a doppelganger kind
I
of.
love those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's like Richard Gere or one of those old actors, and it's just some guy in a suit. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I think they've even done like I don't know, like some white person or something, and then like a black person comes out, or vice versa. Like
Oh yeah.
they don't
yeah.
even try to hide it, but
Like same outfit and all that stuff
Yeah.
too.
but I don't know. One of my favorite things that he ever does is the time to deliver a pizza ball.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's just the time to deliver a pizza ball. I'll try to pull it up, but I don't know. He just like goes into like a yoga, like class, and he's like, "Yo, did somebody order a pizza?"
Yeah.
Oh no, it's like a karate class because the guy's like, "You need to get out of here." Like I'm trying to teach, and he's like, "Hey man, somebody ordered this pizza, and I'm not gonna leave until somebody takes this damn pizza." And he's like, "We didn't order a pizza," and then it just like gets crazy, and they like almost come to blows. That's my like. I wonder how many times he's been arrested. You know?
Yeah, probably a lot. Like,
Yeah. Have you guys ever been anywhere close to being arrested for doing dumb shit?
I haven't, surprisingly. I've only gotten like curfew tickets and speeding tickets. That's it. I've never gotten too close. Isn't he wearing like kind of like the ranch me bro type outfit, like the short shorts and sunglasses and shit? I don't remember.
He has like a jester's hat on.
Oh yeah.
Deliver a pizza ball.
He's got like a ridiculous outfit.
Yeah.
Time to deliver a pizza ball. Time to deliver a pizza
This is one of the
ball.
few that I'm familiar with. These skits.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
And
like dressed
Burrow.
like a jester. He has like a crop top on.
Yeah.
He's got like the yoga like tight pants on. I don't know. It's that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Even like pranks, I don't know. One time, Eloy, we went for like I think it was a psychology class or whatever. I don't know if this like to me it was a prank because it wasn't really thought out to be like a project. It was supposed to be a project where you challenge the natural flow, like the natural order of society, and you do something in
Mm.
public that people are like, "What the hell?" And
What's
then
it
you
called?
record
The
their
That's interesting.
social experiment. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Some-
that's all it was a social experiment.
Something like that. I don't
I
know.
thought it was a different name. Never mind.
So I don't even know what the examples they were that they gave us. I think it was something very minor. Like somebody's in I remember them showing us a video of somebody going shopping like for something else, or they were giving like free samples of like rotten food. I don't even remember. But it was like really minor stuff. They'd work with the whatever building they were in, and to do permission, they're like, "Oh well, I have a school project," and then Winco or whatever would be like, "Yeah, okay, we'll let you set up a stand and record
wow.
people or whatever." We didn't do that because it was too much work to try to get Valley Fair on board.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's surprising.
so one day we just like went there. We were going to be me and Eloy and a couple of our friends. We were going to reenact.
I'm surprised we got as many people in on that as we did.
Yeah,
'Cause I think how many of us were even in the class?
I think it was a group of 4 that we had to go. I think it was you, me, some girl that was filming, and then somebody else was in that class with us that did it with us. I don't remember, but we were gonna be like we were gonna play air guitar, air drums, like
Oh,
air
nice.
sing, but we were gonna like carry around a boombox and just randomly set up a boombox and start a live concert.
That sounds fun.
And so we did that. I don't even remember. I think we played
Miss Murder, I know that.
Miss Murder from AFI.
Nice.
And then I think we did Take a Look at My Girlfriend, whatever it is, by
Oh yeah.
Gym Class Heroes.
Yeah,
There's a video of that too. I don't know where, but
I have no idea where that is.
I don't know. people seemed not to care that much. Like, obviously they'd look, but it wasn't like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
There were a
just like,
couple
that's
people
weird.
that took interest in one way or another. There was someone who was like playfully cheering us on, and then the people at the cell phone booth were recording us.
Nice.
But so I mean, I'm surprised we didn't get escorted out by the security there.
We were there
Yeah.
for at least 3 songs.
Yeah.
So,
And we thought like moving from the food court to like the movie area would be enough to be like, oh, they won't catch us. Like we didn't want to stay in one area too long,
Yeah, that's smart.
but it's
but I mean, how smart was that? Because I don't know how it was set up at the time, but I feel like at least now the food court is literally just as you walk through the movie area. Was it different back then?
it is still a little different. I mean, the food court now at the Valley Fair Mall is really sad because it's a lot of weird foods, and it's
Yeah.
like I don't even know what's there half the time. It's a lot of like foreign food, but like none of it makes sense to me. Like it's like Indian pizza, or it's
Oh,
like
yeah,
like
okay.
it's a fusion. That's what they call it. Like it's a
Yeah,
fusion
yeah.
of different things. And I don't know. To me, it's like the food court. I just want something that's recognizable, then I can just go get it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it's not my crowd. I don't really shop at the mall anymore. So maybe there's a new clientele there that's getting that food. Is that racist of me to say?
Maybe. You could just say maybe it's a cheap rent for local businesses,
Yeah.
It's business opportunity
Yeah.
for unique cuisine.
I just can't name any of them. That's the problem. I want to be like,
Yeah.
there's no hot dog on a stick anymore.
I was going to ask. It's not there.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I
I
haven't
haven't
been there
been.
in forever. So,
Yeah, I haven't either.
I'm making general assumptions here. But so yeah, there was that. I think like our Hump Olympics. A lot of this goes back to our YouTube channels for me.
I was trying to
Yeah.
find that last night to show my girlfriend, and I couldn't find it. I was looking up like
Oh.
Blue Crew Hump Olympics, and
Oh, it's Blue Crew Tube.
okay.
I think I think Best Buy had like a legitimate Blue Crew. as
Yeah, I
their
kept finding all this other
moniker.
Yeah,
stuff.
but
Of course, the corporate takeover.
or we're like on the second page of like YouTube, like the second page of Google. You
Probably.
have to
Yeah.
go a little bit further than anybody wants to.
See
Exactly.
if I could. How long it would take me to find this real quick?
But I don't know. I think that kind of classifies as one. I mean, one of our friends did it, and it was really stupid. It was just basically to see like who could hump the most things in a minute on a playground.
Yeah,
We were children, so it's not like grown-ass adults doing that because that's problematic.
that's different.
Yeah, these were dumb teens, and so we were just doing that. And one of our friends was like on top of the slide, like the circular slides, like the tube slides.
Yeah.
And he was trying to go down that, and apparently he didn't know there was a kid in it that
Oh,
came
boy.
sliding down.
Yeah.
And so as he like it reaches the bottom of the slide, some little kid just like comes out under it, and then we're like, oh, shit, time to end it here.
Yeah.
So those are that's that. Anything?
Did you guys ever get into like prank calls or anything? That's like a classic.
I know I've probably. Oh, have you ever played around with like those little internet soundboards?
Oh, yeah.
Celebrities and
I
stuff.
did that a good amount. Yeah.
It's funny. I actually did that with my brothers and my dad,
Oh, nice.
calling like my uncles and
Yeah.
cousins and everything. The one that really sticks with me is we called either my uncle or my cousin Alexis, we just called their home phone back when people had home phones,
Oh yeah.
the olden days. And my cousin Alexis had picked up the phone and we were using some Napoleon Dynamite soundboard.
Oh, nice.
I don't remember what we were saying exactly, but you just hear her pull her head away from the phone. It's like, Dad, someone yada yada is on the phone.
Yeah.
And he comes and picks up the phone. He's like, hello? And we're just like, hi, is Napoleon there?
Oh,
Or
God.
this is Napoleon Dynamite or something.
Yeah. My
And
lips hurt real bad.
we did it for a couple minutes until he's like, who is this again? It's like, it's Napoleon Dynamite. He's like, I got some dynamite for your asshole. Don't you ever call this number again.
Oh yeah. The reactions are the best part.
Fuck. I actually remember, you doing that for a while. I think,
Probably did it to you guys once or twice.
Yeah.
I think probably. I know Ryan. Like, there's a roommate Ryan. There's like some website you can go to that would like have a pre-made phone call with like built-in pauses and stuff
Oh, nice.
for people to respond. And I remember him calling there. Let me see if I can pull one up, but I don't know. Those are always funny. I think prank calls are like the ultimate form of prank.
Yeah.
I think they're
Yeah.
harmless. You take away somebody's like 5 minutes, it's fine.
It's funny too because it's like an early form of like improv, like you just keep
Yeah.
going with it and making up some bullshit. And I don't know if I ever talked about. I probably did. I'm pretty sure I did. But when I was a kid, I was like 4. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I talked about this. I had this friend Ian that lived on the same street, and we didn't understand the gravity of it, and like called 911 and said there's a guy with a gun outside and all this shit, and all these cops showed up, and I remember he was standing behind the house with like his cowboy little 6-shooter and like a hat on and stuff, and man, it was bad. Like so, that one was not smart. But
No.
way after that, and like junior high school, we used to do just dumb prank calls like, can I get a cockeroni pizza, and like just all that kind of dumb stuff. Like, and the subway in Tooele, the number is just 882-8822, so it's really easy to remember. We just call them all the time.
Yeah.
We'd call like I still do it sometimes because I guess our friend, but my friend Chris, he has in his room like the Google Assistant thing. You say like, "Hey Google, turn on the lights" or whatever.
Right.
And you can call on there too. So like, I'll just, while we're sitting there talking, I'll just be like, "Hey Google, call AutoZone" or whatever, and I'll just start like, "Hey man, is Dave there?" or whatever, like that type of dumb shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like doing it. And
I don't know. I feel like anybody who like is on the receiving end of a prank call nowadays just has to appreciate the fact that they're being prank called, because I feel like the prank call industry has been really on the decline
It's true.
lately. But I found these. I think it's prankdial.com. I'm gonna play one of these. Oh, you see.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I want to know who this is right now. Let me ask you a question. Why are you calling my girlfriend in the middle of the night? Don't make excuses, boy. You tell me.
Wow. So you just like as soon as they pick up, it starts playing. Like,
Yeah,
That's
I
pretty
think
cool.
so.
I don't know that these kind of things would work on me because I would probably just freeze
I
in
know,
this
huh?
moment and be like,
who is
what?
this? Like,
thinking to myself more than speaking back.
Yeah.
that reminds me, that was kind of a common thing where people's voicemails would be shit like that. Like, hello, and just like, oh, what's up, man? And then it would just go on for like a full minute, and then just like, dude, you're like, what? That wasn't even them that whole time. Like,
See, I've never had one go
Yeah.
on to that extent. One time I had to call my brother's friend because I couldn't get a hold of him or something. His voicemail was just, "Oh, hello?" And then you'd start talking, and then it's just like, "Nah, I'm just fucking with you."
Yeah.
Like, leave a message.
there was a lot of those, man.
I wonder if there's a way that you could do that where, like, you have them talk as the actual message starts, so that you have it on your end. Because in those situations you don't hear it because it's like, "Oh, I'm just fucking with you,"
Yeah.
and then they're like, "Oh, damn it," and then they'll leave the actual message and be like, "Hey, fuck you, man."
Yeah, exactly.
But I want to hear them actually be like acting like it's totally normal, and I don't know how you could do that, but
yeah, like pre-record it or something. And
yeah, I don't know. Anyways, that's I have no answer to that.
I remember also, speaking of like home phones and everything, you'd have like the voicemail box, and I remember making some pretty problematic voicemail messages as a kid. Like,
Oh.
this is Pablo, like just bullshit like that, So people would call, and then like the voicemail would be like some totally different family, and then my parents would find out about it and get all mad. And
Oh,
I don't-
Yeah. I know what you mean. I
Just did dumb shit like that.
thinking back on prank calls, I know I've called or received calls or something. Probably called, I suppose, like pretending to be a Chinese restaurant.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's another one. Is calling like restaurants and just like, hey, do you guys serve like roadkill or whatever? Like, or just like you start ordering and then you just like immediately drop off as a joke, and they get all pissed like after they already like took the order. And
Oh,
but you're saying you acted like
I
the
was
restaurant?
pretending to be
Oh, okay.
the Chinese restaurant. Just be like, I know you called, I know you placed an order, and then I just start throwing out my best impersonation. It was
Yeah.
absolutely atrocious, but
It's too bad.
It
We're
was
gonna find those.
horrible in
Doxing.
every way.
cancel you.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember? I mean, this is kind of like related to prank calls, but did you guys ever go to like drive-throughs and fuck with them?
Oh yeah.
Kind of like that. Yeah. I remember when I was working at Taco Bell, they had this thing called the big taco box or some shit like that.
Oh
And it
yeah.
would come with like 12 tacos, and it was a piece of shit to make. But you had to make 12 tacos in like a minute.
Yeah.
And whenever we'd have people come in and order more than like one, they'd be like, "Can I get like 3 taco boxes?" And we'd be like, "Are you fucking with us?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, yeah." And you'd have to like infer as to who it was and what they actually meant.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
But I remember, you could tell the story better. I've only heard it, but our friends coming to the KFC drive-thru in a chicken suit.
Oh wow. That's
Oh.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I cannot remember what they were saying.
Probably something about their family members or something.
Probably something along those lines. And then
That's pretty good.
I had walked with one of them because we were right next door to a Wendy's.
Oh yeah.
And so I had walked in my KFC uniform with the man in the chicken suit into Wendy's so he could basically just place an order.
Nice.
And it wasn't anything crazy. He's just walking around in the chicken suit.
Yeah.
He sat down and ate
Have,
like
the full
3
head.
pieces of chicken in the lobby or something and just took off like nothing had happened.
Yeah.
I know Ryan has hit an ATM in that very same chicken suit.
Really?
While I'm just recording him, and there have been 3 other people behind us. Ryan's sitting outside of the car, just standing there.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's like a whole other lane. Yeah, you could
Yeah.
just dress up and just act normal and see what people say.
Yeah, I don't even have to like do anything weird. That's already just built in.
Ooh, I want to talk about dressing up and problematic.
Okay.
Eloy did blackface.
Yeah.
That not no, debatably worse.
Oh.
Um,
Whoa.
So, but then this makes me question the person who gave me the opportunity to do this in general. So we had a project, like we had to do a video project, I believe, in world studies or something in sophomore or junior year. And we were paired up in this little group, and one of us was supposed to play the role of the Pope. And so the guy who brought the outfit was he's been into like theater for years at this point,
Yeah.
and he was getting into some heavy theater apparently because he came in with a fucking clown outfit, and he basically just tucked the mask up into the head, and there was no emblem, no marking up top. So I mean, it vaguely
mean,
resembles the Pope, I suppose.
Yeah.
I forgot about this.
I thought it would be a fantastic idea because we were filming just after school in just this one random room that I never knew about. Nobody ever went into. And I knew Logan was out in like the commons area, the big hangout outside the lunchroom.
Doing our own video.
Yeah.
Really?
And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
just going to take a walk over there.
Yeah.
In the outfit and everything, just masked down,
Oh shit.
taking a stroll, walked up, had a casual chat with Logan.
Yeah, I think my
God
my members of my group were kind of horrified
Oh,
that
they
this was
were.
happening.
Yeah.
I could see on their face they were
Yeah.
livid.
You see, this is what I mean by like high school kids not knowing what the hell they're doing and how offensive it is. Like I think back on
Yeah.
that, I'm like, oh god,
It's horrible.
That's
because I was laughing about it. I was like, wow, this is really weird, man.
I mean,
Why-
you know, it's like absurd. That's what's funny about it. You don't like dig deeper than that.
Especially at our school where there's just so many minorities.
Yeah, we had a very
Yeah.
diverse.
Oh, God.
Thankfully, it was after school,
Yeah.
and there were no administrators about at the time.
Yeah.
God,
See,
that
they were
was
laughing.
probably the dumbest thing I've ever done.
yeah.
Well, my
That is
question
pretty
is, even if it is, are we sure it wasn't an actual Klan outfit?
Yeah. Where'd
That's
you
what
get
I'm
this?
saying. Like that's why I question
Where'd it come from?
exactly.
Yeah. That there's a backstory to that.
There's some play he was in where he played a Klan member and he got to keep the
You
outfit.
probably made it. or
Why would you
something.
keep the outfit? That's another question.
Was his first name Steph? Was this?
I think it was Steven,
Yeah.
but with like a PH.
Yeah, that's why.
There you
I didn't want to blow up any names, and I think that's a pretty generic name.
I
but
don't, I don't, I
Yeah.
don't even know his.
I
Last
don't
name.
know.
I couldn't out him if I wanted to.
I do know his last name. I grew up with him.
Oh, yeah, you
shit.
did.
Yeah, he was a couple houses down from me in my family's first house.
Thinking back to it, maybe he seems like the type. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Really?
He comes from
Huh.
a very white family, so you know.
Yeah.
Very,
Who knows,
very
maybe.
Mormon family.
Yeah. And apparently the Mormons and the the white supremacy runs hand in hand. That's coming out recently with all the
Oh wow.
the racial awareness. So
Yeah,
Brigham
shit.
Young was like a raving racist and advocated for the slavery of Utah.
Yeah.
So,
I believe
you
it.
know, maybe there's something to that, but we don't know. We're making accusations here that are
I mean,
probably, you know,
Could be.
there's a difference between having like a storage bin in the basement where it's among other outfits versus like having it on the wall or in a glass case or some shit, you know?
that's true.
Because it's a keepsake. When you're 50, you'll go through that box. Oh yeah, there's my old Klan suit. There's my old robe. I remember those days. Like,
Yeah.
But think about it when
it's not great.
you're 70
No.
and you passed.
Your
Your family's going through your stuff.
Oh my god.
Fuck.
Well, when I was at his house as a kid, I never saw it in a glass memorial. So
Yeah.
It's obviously in a side room, like
Yeah.
a broom closet.
Yeah.
never saw any Confederate flags. So
See?
maybe it really is just a prop. But I don't know
Maybe they
what.
were,
maybe doing Gone with the Wind or something. I don't know. I've never seen Gone with
Yeah,
the Wind.
I haven't
Does the
either.
Klan play a part in Gone with the Wind?
I'm not familiar with Gone with the Wind, actually.
Yeah, I don't know it that well.
My mind always gets that confused with Sound of Music.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't think the
Nazis, big part of Gone with the Wind.
Oh,
I
really?
heard Sound of Music, though.
Yeah, that is true.
I've like missed all of those classics and stuff. I haven't seen any.
Sound of
them.
Music is garbage. Don't watch it.
Oh really?
It's fun, you know. I wouldn't say it's something that I want to sit down and watch
You
every
are
year.
16,
Yeah, just
going
those kind
on
of.
17.
The music is
Oh,
fun.
okay.
How do you solve a problem like Maria? I think this is like the fourth time we've sung
Yeah.
the Sound of Music on this podcast, but
Maybe I like it more than I thought let on. I don't know.
it's the music, man. That's what musicals are for. You know, I musicals aren't the kind of thing where I sit down and I say, yeah, I'm in the mood for a musical. But when I sit down and I'm like, yeah, and then it's years after the fact, they come to mind, and I'm like, oh,
I mean,
it's a pleasant memory.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I know for a fact at one point I bought the Les Mis soundtrack where that movie is 98% singing. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
literally like a 2.5-hour soundtrack.
Wow.
I watched that
Shit.
I watched that not too long ago after reading Les Mis.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Les Mis, the book, is really interesting because it talks about like, you know, how a criminal can never be redeemed even if they've
Mhm.
served their time, and they talk about the problem with the police
Mm.
being dogged, and they talk about like religion, and it's like it's a very interesting story. Then I watched the movie, and it's mostly singing, and they're like hitting story beats like this. Like there's like two
Yeah.
story beats in each song that would spend like a good maybe 100 pages of Les Mis on,
Oh wow.
and I'm just like, this is going way too fast. So, but even the Les Mis soundtrack, I'm like, the one that comes to mind is like Red, the color of angry men. That song.
Huh.
Yeah, man. Wow.
I gotta check it
The
out.
musicals. That's a prank in and of itself. You know, you're pranking the people that go see it in theaters.
Yeah. Does the South Park movie count? It's kind of a musical.
Cats. That whole movie
Cats,
was just
oh.
a prank on the general
Yeah.
public.
I want to watch that. Maybe we should Maybe I don't know if it's too late, but maybe we should all watch that. and
No, I
talk
don't
about
think
it.
it's too late.
I really wanted to watch it because I thought it would be like horrible, but in
Yeah.
a good way. But I have a friend who went to see it, and he said it's just bad. But I mean, I'm willing to give it a go if you guys.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, maybe there'll be a song there that's actually really
A
bopping.
banger.
Yeah,
That's true.
we'll be playing cats in the middle of the road. That's another prank that I guess you could classify as when Carly Rae Jepsen came out with "Call Me Maybe." That was a big
Yeah.
banger in the car as we would drive as
I
high
do.
school kids. We'd be,
That's kind of like you take over the phone and then you just play like some dumb thing or something that
Yeah.
will make them mad. That's classic.
you
yeah.
pull up to like
I mean,
a.
good song. Still like it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's an ironically, it's like a guilty pleasure kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
My favorite was like rolling up to like these really like sketchy looking people,
It just go on.
and
I mean, half the time we were doing that unironically, unintentionally, just
yeah.
blasting like LMFAO probably
Yeah.
downtown where we're running into a lot of sketchy people.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're just like I don't know. And then I'm that person now, I've grown up a few years from now, and somebody comes up next to me and they're bopping some stupid song. I'm
I
just
know.
like,
That's
Oh,
a-
God.
That's
Fuck
how
it.
I am. Anytime I hear any sort of electronic music as I'm driving, I'm just like, fuck out of here.
Yeah. Fuck that.
but
Did you guys ever prank your parents or anything like that, or siblings? Or
mm,
I did a lot of dumb little stuff, like I'd hide behind the wall and jump out, scare my mom, make her scream and shit.
Yeah.
And I remember like, God, I've always been kind of a grandpa because I remember like I had a big bottle of like Sprite or something, and I remember like pretending to read like, "Hear the snake hiss and win $1 million," and then just every soda just. And I was like, "We won!" and all this shit. My mom's like, "Are you serious? $1 million?" I'm like, "No, every soda bottle does that. Like, there's nothing on here that says that. Like, I just did dumb shit like that. I don't know,
oh.
but yeah."
There was one time where, do you remember when people used to like shadow people and they'd stay like 4 inches behind them and just
Oh,
walk around?
I like doing that bowling. Like as soon as they turn around, they're just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
like you're right there." Yeah,
Hey, we'll go on a quick little side note, especially with bowling.
yeah.
I don't remember where I saw this, but I got it off some show where how everybody will like bowl and then either turn around and just start walking, or they'll just back up and watch the ball go.
Yeah.
You just go and you just crouch down behind them and curl up, and they fucking trip over you.
Oh yeah.
And I've done
seen
that for years.
done
I think I even did that probably just this past year. But
It's-
yeah, when it comes, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Like I said, it's good. I think that's a time. It's that and like pulling the chair out from underneath somebody.
Yeah,
Those are always good, unless they're old and you could kill them. But
I know. Huh?
it's
I
always
like
good.
the tack on the chair thing. That's like classic. But I remember seeing a kid do that, and he's like, "My ass is bleeding," and all this. It's like, so I never really did it, but
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, I forgot about that being a prank. Then I've never seen
Yeah.
it, but
Oh, I also had one of those. It's like a fake gum package with one sticking out, and you pull it, and it shocks you. I used to love that. I had one of those. I'd always get people with that.
yeah, I remember that actually. That very vividly.
Yeah.
And then you, as a kid, you would develop a discerning eye for what was actually like gum and what wasn't.
Yep.
And then they would start like covering up the actual package so that you
Yep.
just see the
Okay,
little
man.
metal.
Yeah.
And then even then, it was like a game of back and forth. It's good.
Yeah, you're like, "You sure?" And they're like, "No, it's all good."
Yeah.
You're looking at it all intensely, like, "Where's the seam? It looks a little too thick." Like you're like trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Kids, man.
I loved all that type of stuff, and like magic and all these little kits you could buy, to kind of like mess around with
yeah,
kids.
those are like dumb practical joke kits where you
Yeah.
get like fake.
Fake
Throw up.
turds or throw up or yeah.
I
I
mean, whoopee
never-
cushions.
Whoopee cushion. I
Oh,
did that.
yeah.
I had a little fart machine. I remember that. I put it behind at like a family dinner, like under my grandpa's seat, and then just like pressing it randomly. And he loved it, man. It was funny. Like everyone looks over, like, "Oh my god, what was that?" And I'm just like in the corner.
Did they ever say grace in your family or anything?
Yeah, I have two like I have 3 sets of grandparents, and 2 are like pretty Mormon. So one of
Did
them
you ever
was
do it during
yeah.
that?
It was pretty good, man. He just pushed through it until it was done, and then he kind of like snickered or whatever. But
Fuck yeah.
he didn't even acknowledge it. Like it was like those super fake fart sounds too. So
The Lord doesn't judge, you know.
yeah,
Oh my God.
he made it. He created farts.
He did.
It's true.
You know.
Lord the Jesus created farts. I put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Eloy, you were gonna say something, I think, after the bowling thing. I think
Oh yeah.
Speaking of like shadowing people,
yeah.
Yeah.
I did that to my brother once, and I did it probably like 5 minutes straight, and he would just go sit in his room at his desk chair, and I'd just stay there right behind him, and he'd get up and go. He knew I was doing it the whole time. I was
Oh.
just being a little dickhead.
Yeah.
I was
And-
gonna say like he's not very like
No,
observant.
I was just being annoying.
Yeah. Okay.
And, he didn't like turn around and yell at me or anything. He just turned around and fucking punched me in the face. And it wasn't even so much that it hurt. I just went into so much shock that I like did that stumble backwards, and then I just
Yeah.
fucking collapsed.
Damn.
I hear that from Eloy. Can I get a like the shock? The shock.
That's like I feel like that's kind of a sibling thing. Like I had this friend that he had an older brother, and they were only like 3 years apart or whatever, and that shit can get mean, man. Like
Yeah.
doing the like ear clap thing where you like smack
Ooh.
both sides of their head and their ears ring. And siblings can get brutal, man.
Fuck
Like,
yeah.
I'm glad I never
I
My
had
while we're on the topic of your brother, though, my favorite memory is the first time I went to Eloy's house. I was
What
like
story this is.
I wasn't an only child because my sister was in the house for several years, but then she got pregnant young and they started a life. So
that. Okay.
like junior high and high school, I was living in the house with my parents.
Okay.
And so the first time I go to Eloy's house, like I don't have like those kinds of like the thunderclap or anything. Like I
Yeah.
never really had that with my family. Like the worst thing that my family did was make me eat a sweet pickle, and I cried because it was gross. But they dared me to do it, and I was like, "Oh, this is awful." But anyways, I went to Eloy's house for the first time. I was like, "Yeah, I have a new friend. I went to this new school. I have a new friend. This is exciting."
Yeah.
And then so we're just sitting there like playing some fighting game, like Dragon Ball Z fucking fighting game or something.
I remember that shit.
And just suddenly out of the corner of the room, I think Eloy had like bunk bed with his brother, just like, and his brother was playing with toys on his bunk bed. Just out of nowhere, fucking this like transformer toy or something comes hurling at Eloy's face and hits Eloy square in the head, and he's just like, "Oh fuck!" And I'm like mouth ajar, like, "Oh fuck!" Like,
Yeah, I didn't expect that.
oh my god, it was hilarious. I don't know what was your perspective on that whole situation. To me, it was just like,
I don't-
whoa.
Remember, I think
You did something to offend him.
I don't even remember us sitting there playing a game. I think I remember it as like we went in there and I said something to him that teed him off. So and then we were walking out of the room, and as we were walking out, he fucking knocked me in the back of the head. I don't know.
It's always hurting. It's always
Yeah.
violent. Like-
Oh my god. Then the other thing too, Eloy had these big dogs
Oh, yeah.
for like a third grader like I was. And he's like, "Let's go jump on the tramp," and I'm like, "Hell yeah!" And then they like, I think like you guys kept the like basement door or window like open so that they could go out in and out when they wanted to, something
Yeah.
like that. And so they were like inside, and then they came outside, and I don't have dogs. I've never really grew up with dogs, and
Yeah, me
they
either.
were like really like they weren't aggressive, but they were dogs, so they were
Yeah.
like excited, and
Rambunctious.
so they like pinned me up against the wall, and I'm like peeing my pants, like, "Oh my god, I'm so scared."
Fuck, yeah, that's scary. Especially when you're little, man. Like,
Yeah.
Pretty sure one time I even like ushered them into the trampolines. We had like the one with the nets and everything.
oh yeah.
And I ushered them into the trampoline while Logan was jumping around.
Those dogs terrified me.
Yeah.
But so it was a lot of like interesting firsts when I went to Eloy's house. He had a pool table.
Oh, nice.
But
Anyways,
anyways,
had all the cool shit.
yeah.
Me.
I have some kind of mean ones that weren't necessarily my idea, but I was a part of it. And so, are you guys familiar with what is it called? It's just some kind of lotion, but it's more of like It's more cream. It looks like cum. Okay.
Okay.
It's not like a cocoa butter or whatever. It's more
Vaseline.
It's more like that. I can't think of what it's called right now, but it's kind of a
Calamine.
cross between Vaseline and lotion. It's
Mhm.
kind of white and viscous. Not
I'm
necessarily.
sure I know what.
Is
you're
it for like
talking-
tattoos and shit?
It probably could be, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like Lubriderm or Aquaphor. It probably was Aquaphor. Yeah.
okay.
Just it's it's different than a lotion. It's more like runny. And I remember in high school we had this friend that was kind of like the brunt of a lot of jokes, and sometimes they took it way too far. Like I've talked about that, but like I had this friend Josh that would like break into his house in the morning and like take a shit, wipe it, and leave it all over the floor, or he like burned a hole in their couch, and he did all this stuff to get our friend Skylar in trouble. Like he was cruel, man. I wasn't a part of that shit. It was bad. He straight up like bullied him bad. But but I remember we got a condom. We filled it up with the Aquaphor. And I still feel bad about this, but it was kind of funny. And so we go to his house and we're like, hey man, you want to smoke? Like, we're all smoking weed and everything. And his voice used to crack really bad. We gave him a lot of shit for that. And he's like, yeah, man, let's go. So we get him like, we gave him, his last name, we called him the Shrew based on his last name. It was Shrewsbury. So we called him the Shrew. And we gave him a lot of shit. I was pretty close with him. Like, oddly enough, when we talked about all the like protests and Black Lives Matter and stuff, and I was like, be careful with people that like think science is like the basis. He's one of those guys, and that's why I had to kind of just cut him off. But at the time, he was more of like a hippie type guy with like a long ponytail. It's so weird how much he changed. But we gave him a lot of shit, and we're like, hey man, let's go smoke. Like, how you been? Blah blah blah. And we're walking back. He had this little like tree in his backyard that kind of hung down. It was like a tall like pine thing, and all the stuff like hangs down, so you could go in there and kind of be like hidden somewhat. And we get him back there, and we all kind of slowly like step away. And he's like, "Hey, where you guys going?" And then our friend Brandy, I think you met her on Halloween. Her and her boyfriend. He was like the werewolf. I don't know. I knew her way back in high school. You might remember that.
My memory shit.
Vaguely.
Yeah, but she had it the whole time, like this full condom full of Aquaphor, and just like smacks him across the face with it, and it just explodes like all in his eyes and up his nose and all this stuff. And they take off. They just run right away, and they're laughing hysterically. And I just kind of look at him in the face, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry. Like, I just felt bad about it because it was mean, honestly. But I was the one that drove, so they're all jumping in my car. So I just take off to my car because I didn't really know what to do. I came with them to do it, but I had like the conscience about it or whatever. But so because there was that delay, like he was kind of like right behind me getting into the car, so I hurry and jump in. And the window was still down, so he like sticks his hand in the passenger window, and he's like, "What the fuck, guys? Like, what was that all about? I thought we were gonna smoke and all this stuff." And I felt so bad, but it was really funny because his face just looked like it was covered in cum, and it's like dripping off of his like eyebrow and off of his nose, and even though he's like huffing and puffing, he just was glazed like a donut. And I feel bad, but it was pretty funny to see him like bright red, all pissed off with cum dripping off his face.
See, I don't know.
It was mean. I regret it.
I'm one of these people that are like, I think those pranks are fine if you make it up to them in like a short term. Like,
Yeah, we did.
like, let me go buy you like I don't know, some fucking burger or something.
Yeah.
and let's clean you up and let's go get you something to eat or something. I don't know.
I probably came back later that day or something because I felt bad. He was one of those guys that didn't have a lot of friends, and that's how we all met in the first place because I kind of like embraced him, and then he got into this group, and then they all just kind of like cannibalized, but
Yeah.
it was funny.
Kids are cruel,
Yeah.
and I don't know. That part of me lives
It
on.
was cruel.
I think that's funny, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's one of those things like if you saw it in a movie or something, it would be, or like if, maybe not though. Maybe it's just cruel. I don't know.
I mean, it is cruel, but like I said, I'm for cruel pranks if you make it up and it's a genuine like
Yeah.
apology, you know. But
Yeah, and it was harmless enough. I mean, like it was bad, but it wasn't like property destruction or some
Right.
bullshit. You know.
he cleans that up. He's got a smoother face for the
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Exactly. Seeing those big droplets come off of his eyebrow and shit, like, what the? I don't know. It was pretty funny. And we always did the thing where like, hey man, get in the car, you know. And as they're opening the door, you drive away. And sometimes we would just straight up just leave. Like we wouldn't even like stop and then drive and stop. Like we would just and just be gone. And he was like, what the hell was that? Like, and then we just come all the way back around and be like, okay, man, let's hang out. Like,
See, I still think that's a funny. Like, I still do that to this day. I did
Yeah,
that to Brittany
exactly.
the other day, like, where you're like, okay, let's go for a drive or something, and then I'll like stop, wait for them to like grab hold of the handle and like back up a little bit. And be like, oh, here we
Yep.
go, and then back up a little bit.
oh, sorry. Oh,
Yeah.
whoops. Yeah.
That shit's fun, man. I don't know. It's just, I love it. But I don't know. I'm trying to think of like cruel jokes that we've played on people.
Yeah.
And, I mean, this isn't me. In fact, it doesn't involve any of us. But I remember hearing that one of my friends, Jimmy, like he snuck out to go hang out with our other friend Lexi at one point, and
I don't know who that is, but,
yeah, I don't know if they were dating at the time or not. He's gay.
Mhm.
He's out now, I should say, and then I think she's bi or something. So I don't think it was an actual like
Okay.
relationship. It was like a let's get together because we're both figuring out what the fuck this is.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyways, that's
That's important.
It's
That's okay.
irrelevant to this whole thing. But anyways, like they were sneaking out, and like he was trying to get her attention, so he's like tapping on her window, but like she had a basement window, so instead of like throwing rocks or whatever, he just like kicked it and it like fucking shattered.
I forgot about that.
Damn.
And so he goes off like books it. And for the like he didn't want to tell her that it was him. And so for the longest time it was an open secret. Like we all knew it was Jimmy that broke her window.
Yeah.
She'd come to school like she's furious because she gets in trouble for it, obviously.
God.
And she's like, "Who the fuck broke my window?" And we're all like,
Yeah.
"Shit!" Like keep
Something
it a
Whoa,
secret.
happened.
someone fuck you. What an asshole.
Yeah.
And so I mean, that's like an accidental prank, I guess. I don't know. But,
Yeah.
and see, that's fucked up because I don't even know when she found out. I think she found out like years later in high school.
Damn.
Not even from him. It was like probably one of us that were like, "Yeah, Jimmy broke your window." But that was good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I guess like harmless pranks are like leaving like Valentines for people. Because
Yeah.
somebody left me a Valentine in like junior high school, and I still have no idea who it was, and it bugs me to this day. I'm like, fuck, man. And it's like I was at school asking like, did you do this? Did you do this? And it was a lot of like, no, and I'm like, fuck. And to this day, I'm still like, who was it? You know. But I don't know. That's a loving prank, I guess.
There's well, like you see how Ryan has all these like printed out pictures, and he'll just randomly like leave it on a
Oh,
wall
yeah.
somewhere and stuff like that. And
Logan and I sort of had a running gag on each other in high school where we would just one of us would go to the bathroom and then the other would sneak in without them noticing
oh yeah.
and just take a picture of them at the urinal and just like sneak out
Nice.
before they finish.
Because everybody has their own thing when they're peeing, you know. Either like you're looking down or you're looking up or you're just like kind of doing, you know, shaking your head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could tell just from all the pictures we took. Sometimes, yeah, you're just like staring off into space. Sometimes you're looking under the stalls just for them.
Sometimes you have like
I mean,
A
for
wide
feet, but I
tree.
mean, yeah, whatever.
some people have a wide stance, some people have a short stance, some people do
Yeah.
the hand on the wall.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's like a drunk thing too.
See, what comes to mind when you talk about that is talking about pranks taking it too far.
Yeah.
Is I was like, okay, we've done this picture thing for long enough, and we were both peeing at Walmart, and I was like, it's time to step up
you
the game.
Oh my
Oh.
fucking god!
And
Ooh,
so
I'm still mad at you.
Put
Didn't
it over the
say.
wall or whatever.
No, I saw his shoe underneath the separation. And I
Oh
was just
god.
like, just turn a little 45 degrees.
Just pissed on my foot.
And
See,
Yeah,
but you're
that was-
laughing, you know. Give it some time, and it's funny.
It's a salty laugh, like 10 years later.
Yeah.
I think it took you a second to realize too. Like it was one of those.
I couldn't comprehend that he would just do that. Like, what
And,
the hell? I think I probably looked up. I'm like, what the hell's up with the piping? I don't
Yeah, exactly.
And then this was at Walmart, so I was smart enough to do it at the end of the tank, you know. So it was just the last little bits there, and I quickly
Okay.
did it. And I think my girlfriend at the time was waiting outside, and I just come booking it out, and I'm running through Walmart.
I chased him down, but I was still going. I was like a good 10 seconds behind him.
But there was
Shit.
that. There's a lot of like peeing. I feel like that I thought was funny, and in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, that's
There's
It's
one.
just mean.
There's one I really regret involving that.
yeah.
Ugh, I don't know.
I don't know. The one I'm thinking of is some girl that I wanted to date, but it never actually happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. We tried to get her to sneak out, but she never would. And so instead, we went and pissed on her tires and left her a note. And we thought that it'd be like smart enough to leave like our last name or something, just the initial M for
Yeah.
merchant. And
She probably had no idea what that was.
oh, she figured it out
She
right
did?
away.
Okay.
It was like either the next morning or even maybe later that very night.
Really?
She called him out on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And she took it well enough, I remember, but you know that probably didn't help my chances. You know that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes it depends on the person. Maybe for some that would have
Yeah.
been the perfect.
maybe she's
fit.
into golden showers. She's
Yeah.
like, this tire could be me. Just
I hope so. Anyway, well, not for her, but I like pee stuff. Okay.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I know there was one that I kind of feel bad about. I went to hang out with this girl that I knew was particularly into me, and I was kind of testing the waters. I never actually hung out with her before, and so I went over to her house, parked my car out front and everything. We hung out for a little bit there, and then we walked to a park that was just kind of across this little canal road, and hung out there for a bit, and we walked back on the canal a little bit. And I'm like, oh, I bet I could beat you back to your house if you like went around the block. And I just hopped a couple blocks worth of fences.
Okay.
So I did that. And sometime, I think it may have even started out as playful fun.
Yeah.
But sometime on my way back hopping these fences, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get in my car and leave. So I got in my car. I beat her back. So, I mean, go me.
Yeah.
Champ.
Very
Um,
nice.
So I got in my car and started it up. And I thought it would take her longer than it did. So she had rounded the corner and got like very near my car. And I looked back and I made eye contact with her. I'm like, I'm in too deep now. So I just fucking gunned it. And just, I never spoke to her again.
Oh shit! Wow.
Which is weird. Went to the same school and everything.
yeah, that was
I wasn't smart about this, but I committed.
Damn.
And I
That's the
felt
main
bad.
thing.
That was such a fucked up thing to do.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't think she was very happy about that.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
I think she complained to me about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Oh,
funny.
well, it's fine.
I don't know.
It's
I don't
a
know if
good
you want to say names or not.
It's a good story now.
She listens. So,
Oh,
She
wow.
does?
I think so. If it's who I'm thinking of. Is it Anna?
No.
Oh.
No.
I know she. Well, I know.
That's a
complained
different
about that too.
situation that I feel not as bad about, but still pretty
Okay.
bad.
All right. It's a similar situation. So never mind. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know if I want to tell that
Yeah,
story,
you don't have
especially
to.
since she listens.
You don't have to.
Anna, I'm sorry. That was fucked up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's okay.
You
She'll
guys
appreciate
ever, toilet paper, egg houses,
Oh.
any of that? It's more like vandalism, I guess.
I was going to tag along to egging someone's house, but I didn't actually.
You never did?
I didn't actually make it. No,
Oh, damn.
I wasn't the type to do that. But then there was this one kid that a few of my friends would like actively bully.
Yeah,
And
bit of a shrew type.
yeah.
Just kidding. I feel bad about that. Not that he has no idea I'm saying this, but I do feel bad. Anyway, sorry.
I don't know. Yeah, there's just a few times where like, hey, we're gonna go egg this guy's house.
You know, I
You
don't
want to
know
come along?
who's
We're
this
gonna go
guy.
do this to this guy's house. We're gonna go light some dog shit on fire on his porch.
Yeah.
You had an open hand to me, man.
Not.
Just
Do you remember?
Yeah, you ever find-
Twan?
Oh.
Yep.
Wow. I don't even know. I do remember Twan, but I never knew there was plans.
It was, yeah, dude. Like,
Didn't he become like an actual gangster? Like at one point, like he became like in a gang, like he was running shit.
I don't know. He always claimed that he was in gangs. So I never
believe it.
knew what to believe.
I believe it. I believe it. But yeah.
Yeah. Did I tell you guys about tagging a church with Cheese Whiz? I probably did.
Doesn't sound familiar.
No. Yeah, we used to sneak out a lot in like junior high school, and the kind of like neighborhood I lived in, you could walk to the Walmart if you just went through these fields, and we did that a lot, man. And yeah, one night we just bought a bunch of Cheese Whiz to eat, and then got kind of like sick of it, or I don't know if you really eat Cheese Whiz, but or
Slurp it.
easy cheese, yeah. And there was a church on our walk back, and we were edgy, long black hair, metal kids. And it's more like I was in that group, I guess, but I always kind of wanted to like show that I was cool, and so I remember putting a big old penis on the main door in Cheese Whiz, and we're all laughing and blah blah blah. And I remember like going past it again, and they had scraped it all off, but it kind of like dyed the paint, so you could still see it. Like it's gone now. I've gone back over there. It's like in the neighborhood I grew up in, but I loved that, dude. That you could still see it, even though they cleaned it off.
Yeah.
Like,
And then all those.
shouldn't have done that, but it was funny.
It's fun. You just made sure that the parents were teaching their kids about the birds and the bees a little earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a worm carrying some berries. That's
Yeah.
all it is. I don't know. I remember like TPing houses on like a rainy night, so it would get all soggy and in the branches, and we were bad, man. We were mean.
Yeah. You were out to kill.
We were some meanies. Yeah.
Not to kill, but to kill the prank.
We had this girl that was one of my friend's girlfriends, but it was kind of like she would do anything, which is actually who I lost my virginity to, if that tells you anything. But
Doesn't
We-
tell me anything.
Let's say more about her or more about you. The way you phrase
Yeah,
that.
more about her.
She'd do anything. I don't know.
well, yeah, I wasn't pulling a whole lot in those days, but
None of us were.
yeah.
None of us should be fucking at that age.
We got her to pull down her pants and just shit on the porch, and then knocked on the doorbell, or
She really
knocked on the
is.
door and ran off, and then we like hid in the bushes, and they came out. And I remember it was that guy, Zach's older brother. We always liked to prank their house so we could like have that open secret thing, like, oh man, I can't believe someone did that. And I remember he came out with a baseball bat and he's like screaming, and I don't know. We did some dumb shit. Like,
Wow. She's a ride or die though. Then.
yeah,
we-
she'd do anything. Like I said,
We
it would never got too like creepy. I'm just saying, but
That's
she
good.
was in on the joke a lot of the time.
All of our female friends were not. I feel like.
She was a rare person, for sure.
All of our female friends are probably the responsible ones.
We could, if we pestered them enough, they would kind of do something. But
They'd
would.
accompany us, but they would never
Yeah,
take part in any of our tomfoolery.
there was a lot of I remember having girls come with like our little group to doorbell ditch or whatever, and they would just kind of be there and then run off and then be like, okay, that's enough, and then we're like already doing it again, and they're like, oh my god, and all that. But I remember we used to make it was mostly that guy Josh and me, and now he's like into politics and stuff. It's so funny. But we would buy clay, and like I remember he molded this. He was a really good artist. He made this like very detailed vagina, and we just like put it on one of our friends' porches and like knocked and ran off. And then I remember going to hang out there a couple times, and it was just smashed like in the grass. So you could still see all the little fragments, and like it was just this constant reminder, like, oh man, they got pissed and never even cleaned it up. They just tossed it, like, just dumb stuff like that. I don't know,
Yeah.
putting
That's
like
deep. chocolate
chocolate syrup on people's doors, and
I remember
we were
Eloy
just
got.
bored, small town, you know.
I guess that's probably true.
That was before all the drugs came in, which
You gotta.
we'll get there. But
Yeah, so drugs in this instance were a good thing, you know.
I know it kept us kind of calm and less in trouble. You
Kept
know?
you off the streets.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. I remember Eloy. I think your car got egged and it kind of fried a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I don't know who did it to this
Well,
day.
not nice, but that's
See, that's the thing, man.
pretty
These
good.
pranks, you gotta own up to them eventually.
yeah. I know. Maybe like if I ever have to go to like 12-step or something, I'll have to go back and like apologize to all
Yeah.
those people.
I think we've talked about that too. How we want to like make at least Eloy. I remember you talking about wanting to pay back somebody $5 for the trip to the zoo.
Oh yeah.
These debts that we owe.
I mean, I do that. I've done that for years. Like, I get a chance to talk to somebody I know I fucking did something wrong to. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. We
Yeah.
need to talk about this. I know you don't care. You don't remember who I am.
Yeah.
I need to apologize.
Maybe in some way though, it like changed their personality or their outlook or whatever. You know?
Maybe.
Maybe they spiraled into darkness because of what you did. Just take that in. Think about it.
I don't know. It's mostly a lot of ex-girlfriends who then boyfriends will like sick themselves upon me.
Oh shit.
Who do you think you are apologizing? I'm like, I don't know. Just being nice, man.
Have you guys ever gotten into weird stuff with girlfriends? Like I remember in high school, this girl was with like pinned me down and just like spit into my mouth and just all this dumb shit.
Oh, that's where we're going.
I was not. No, I wasn't into it. I felt attacked, man. Like,
I just
I
or
don't think
throwing a basketball at my face and just
just mid
being bullied by your girlfriend. That'll
thing.
fuck you up in the head.
I mean, I don't
Is this
think
what love is.
bullied in the traditional sense. I don't think I have been. But
the weirdest thing. It wasn't even with me. It was with a girl I was seeing talking about an ex. How she like would floss his teeth, and then she said that would turn her on to do during, is to floss somebody's teeth.
Oh wow, interesting. Yeah, that brain wiring shit in your developmental years. That's how you get a fetish, you know.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I don't know about that, but
Very interesting.
I don't know. I feel like I'm the one that usually instigates weirder shit
Yeah,
when I'm drunk.
I know. Huh?
I kind of have to give that disclaimer whenever I start seeing somebody new. Because it's like when I get drunk, I might suggest something. Just know that if you say no, it's probably a good thing.
yeah,
that's I tell people straight up. I'm like, I have to be very selective about who I drink with.
I know. Huh? Pull
I don't
some
know. I'm
weird shit.
just a weird guy when I'm drunk like this.
But yeah, I don't know. I can't think of any more like pranks that
Yeah.
I've specifically done, but I'm sure there are some. But we've been going for an hour and 22 minutes. So,
Yeah.
You guys got anything else?
Very small one I thought of a bit ago. I convinced my brother when he was a lot younger that cereal would like actually actively multiply when you put milk into it. And he believed it for years.
That's awesome.
For so long.
Oh my god. See, I think you have that advantage being the older brother, and I was the
Yeah.
youngest, and so
Yeah.
I was the one that would fall for that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I remember actually, this has nothing to do with that, but I remember, like, this is how stupid I was as a kid. When I was first learning to like wipe my ass after shitting, as a kid, I was home alone with my brothers, and I wanted to make sure that I got everything, so I like came out of the bathroom and I was holding like a used
God.
a used thing, and I was like, "Is this clean enough? Do you think?"
That's so innocent.
And they're just like, yeah, just go fucking
Just,
check it.
we don't need to see that. Nice.
But yeah, so I could definitely see myself falling for the serial multiplication theory. that
Yeah, me too.
you're putting up.
it's so dense when you put that milk in. It's so easy.
That's such a like I'm excited in some ways to be like a dad or granddad or whatever, or grandpa or grandfather to do shit like that, you know, like where you just tell kids like little fibs or whatever. That's gonna be fun.
I was looking
I'm
back
excited
on
for that.
old family photos because we were going through for Mother's Day, and I realized that would be one of my main plus sides to having a kid is
Yeah.
just so I could roast the shit out of them.
Yeah, exactly.
I see. I don't have that with my son. To me, it's like a lot of the misinformation he has, I want to correct.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
that's
sure
my
I'd be like
natural
that,
impulse.
too. Yeah.
I feel like that, like being able to make fun of them and roast them comes when they're like 18.
That's
You're
probably
laughing
true.
at kids shit.
Yeah.
When he's older, yeah, it's probably true. Right now, I think I just want him to make sure he gets his ducks in a row so that he doesn't get made fun of. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's like my biggest worry. But
Oh, that's good.
when he starts talking, but sometimes he like throws around these facts. And I'm like, oh, you know that already? Like he's talking about how all the planets revolve around the sun. I'm like, I thought you didn't learn that until like I don't know,
Oh, yeah.
4th grade or something. But
He's gonna
That's-
be an astrologer before you know
maybe,
it.
maybe. I remember 4th grade is when I learned about clouds. For some reason, that's
Yeah. Cumulus and all that.
I remember learning about the clouds. I don't remember what I learned about the clouds, but I remember learning about them. It's really weird.
I remember like
sheets-
the graphic with
Yeah.
like the water coming down and
Yeah.
condensation and
Yeah, the
evaporation.
water
and-
cycle.
That's all I remember.
weird. All right, this has been a all over the place episode. But
Yeah.
anything else, guys?
Yeah, that's it. I'm sure I could keep like digging, but yeah, probably good.
All right. Well, this has been episode 67 of Ice of Life. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I keep forgetting to assign little tidbits at the end, but I guess this week it can just be go watch Eric Andre's Legalize Everything. It's on
Yeah.
Netflix,
I'll watch it
streaming
later tonight.
now. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a new Eric Andre season show coming out. But if you like pranks, sometimes pranks that go a little over the top, check out Eric Andre. All right, guys. Thanks for listening to this episode, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening, guys. Be sure to check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Vice of Life Pod. You can listen to us on our new YouTube channel at Vice of Life. Send us an email if you want at viceoflifepodcast@gmail.com. Review and subscribe wherever you listen. And if you really love us, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/viceoflife.